I think I'm on. Oh, I am. So this is a what if. I haven't done one for a while. Starting a new what if. This what if is gonna be what if Izuku Midoriya went to a Black Ops 3 map. So you guys could choose anything, one map, but for this first map, I'm gonna choose it. I'm choosing this first map. So the map that I'm choosing is Zetsubo no Shima, which is a place where Takio died, or his soul got collected, if you even know. So this first part, I guess, I'm gonna give Deku or Izuku a should I give him? I'm gonna give him. Sorry, it's hard to think. There's three outcomes I could put to this, and I don't want to choose. I want to choose two of them and combine them, but it's gonna be a lot harder. Fine. I want to do what if Izuku Midoriya had Rick Toffin's mind, like if he was another part of Rick Toffin. He's like a super smart evil scientist, you could say, but it depends on the version of it. I'm not gonna go on details. I'm just gonna say if he had his mind, I guess, or his brain, an alternate universe, whatever, and he had a unique quirk, which I'm giving him is a like resistant quirk. So he could be resistant to poison, to anything. Like he could barely get hurt. So how am I gonna start this is when Izuku was little, what age should I put him at? Let's do when he was 7, when Baka was bullying him. Izuku had this mindset of getting away, not coming back to this place. And he wanted to just destroy everybody. Because they all made fun of his quirk. They didn't like him either. But Izuku was thinking. He had a weird, weird thought if he could just teleport. So what he did was he went to a beach. His mom was working at the time. When he went to the beach, he looked at many things. He saw a lot of junk. But to him, it was junk. And he starts going through the junk. But he starts making something. He starts making a little tiny device. And he makes it, but it just blew up. What he was trying to make was a little device that could probably change him somewhere. Take him far away. Maybe even just make him a little bit happy. But he forgets all about that and he just says, screw it, I'm just gonna make something else. Instead of making teleportation device, he makes a alternate universe device. I'm not smart. I'm not going in detail about this. He puts a lot of things together. And he realizes that he's not gonna be able to be there for long. Just for a bit. So what he does is he shoots this little thing to the wall. This little laser to the wall. And the laser just sparks out, and then it just creates a little portal, which he was surprised, but he didn't think much of it. He ran through. He saw many different things, and Once he even passed an old guy that looked at him, and he looked at back while he was in this little thing. And he saw a guy with a Russian cap, and he was kind of surprised. And they both looked at the kid, and he didn't think nothing of it. So when he finally got to the map, or this place, he saw he was in a forest somewhere. It was really weird. He saw things. He was scared. He didn't know what to do. He only thought this far ahead. So what he did was, he looked around. He saw dead people all over the place. And he was super scared. He moved them over. And one just got up. But something surprising happened. It walked away from him. And what Zuko did is nothing. He went to go hide somewhere. And then after that, the zombie, yeah, we all know this. The zombie just got red eyes and started chasing Zuko. Zuko saw like marks on the wall. The point that set over his eyes was 0. So when he tried grabbing it, it just made a little sound. It made like a cha-ching, and he was super surprised. But then he realized what he was holding, a real life weapon. He didn't know what to do with it, but he remembered that all he has to do is press a little trigger on the bottom. So then when he looked at the zombie, he just turned around and shot him. He was crying, but he had this mindset of goal of being better than anyone else. So what he did was start walking around, looking around, but remember, don't touch zombies or the dead people on the ground. They'll wake up. So he found this rock thing. The water under it was blue. He thought this must be something. So when he must have thought this was regular water, so he just started drinking out of it. And he realized that he started getting a little dizzy. And he started losing things like where he lived, and he realized it. But then he just started losing, and he started laughing out loud, crazily. So what he did is, maybe I should use my quirk. So when Izuku did this, everything went away. He could remember who he was. He remembered everything. He wasn't crazy. So whatever that water did affect him. So then he looked behind the rock. He saw a bucket, so he just picked it up for future. He jumped down to this slippy slide thing. He tripped and fell over. He dropped his weapon. So when he looked up, he saw a giant spider, and he backed up, but he realized it was dead. He was just super, super surprised. He didn't know what to do next. So he picked up his gun and just tried to figure a way out. He found that there was a little bridge beside the spider. He started walking past them. And he goes to another water source. And he just realized, what is this? What he did was, he drank from the water because whatever it was, his quirk could handle it. So when he drank from the water, it did absolutely nothing. It just tasted a little weird. So he just walked away. Now, when he looked around, he realized that he just got something behind his pocket. It was a little ball. He didn't know what it was, so he just threw it. And spider webs came out of nowhere from it. Kind of Kinda got him a little weird. But he woke up another one by accident when one of the people, three, they all started waking up. Zuko knew what he had to do. He had to end them before he dies. He shot every last one of them. And he looked around himself. He realized he had a clip. So many clips on his body. And each time he took one out, one just appeared in his hand. Zuko was finally learning how to use a gun. He was surprised. What really got him scared was the part where he started going through this bunker. He knew he could handle it. He was kind of surprised. So he just walked through. Nothing happened, of course. He was still walking. He saw a little machine on the side. It was something called Quick Revive. But he realized it needed power. He didn't think nothing of it. So he walked past it. When he started walking, he went to the right, saw multiple doors that he could enter from. If he goes through the middle, he could see all the doors. If he goes to the right, he just saw one door. He looked to the left, he saw an elevator. He decided to explore. So he took a right. He looked around. Nothing was here. It was just a weapon. He walked back down. And he just decided to go forward with this mission. He didn't decide to take the elevator because it was leading him downstairs. He didn't know what it was going to use for. So, when he just started walking, he decided to take the right door. It led him downstairs somewhere. When he looked around, he saw bodies hanging upside down. He looked to the left, and he saw a little gas mask. Decides to take it with him, just in case anything bad happens to him. He walks back up the stairs, and he looks, and he sees something to go down somewhere. He walks down there. There's water, and his shoes get wet. He doesn't mind it. He walks up to this thing called Pack a Punch. He didn't know what it was for, but it said needs power. He didn't really think of nothing of it because he knew that the machine back there needed power too. So when he walked back, he looked to the left, and he started walking. And there was an underground tunnel. Underground, no, not tunnel. What was it? It was an underground water source. Looks like everything's fixed. When he looked, he saw a lever. It was down. And he saw it was a power. But he was too scared to press it down. So he walks to the left. He sees the docks. It was kind of surprising. So he didn't think of nothing. He was just thinking that this is where they got their supplies. They left. So then he walks straight back. Decides to finally go to the last part. See where everything is. He sees nothing else. He sees a underground mine shaft and a base where they're experimenting on people. So what he tried doing was releasing them until one of them opened their eyes. Shizuka got scared and backed up. Zuko still had his bucket with him, but he didn't want to do anything. So when Izuku was down there, he saw a little pipe. This he could have gone through. He needed 500 points to go through, which he had. he had, so he used it, and he didn't know what to do, and he had a bucket on him. So when he just grabbed something random, it was called rainbow water, which he didn't know what it was for. So he just dumped it out, and he just started walking around the place, and he sees this green water. He's like, the last time I drank this, it made me crazy. So he was like, you know what, screw it, let's drink. He drank it. The things that happened to this water was different. It kept him frozen for some reason. It wouldn't let him move, not even an inch. It scared him a lot. So he very quickly used his quirk, which stopped it, and he was able to move again. He was scared, but he didn't know what it did. He knew the last one gave him balls that could turn into spider webs. So when he started walking away, you realize that there's a little power thing up there. He walks all the way up the hill, up the stairs. I mean, sort of walking through the stairs. And he sees the shield. He didn't think nothing of it. So he just picks it up, tries to wear it. He realizes it's way too heavy for him. But he thinks he might need it in the future. So when he just starts walking, he he looks at this cool little plant on the side, and he was just super surprised. So he just decided to go back in the bunker to see if he missed anything. Surely he didn't think nothing of it, but he sees on the left side of where the gas mask was purple water, and he doesn't realize what this does. He says, "Screw it, let's drink." So he just starts drinking, and he starts coughing and coughing, and he just starts choking. Zuko just starts trying to use his quirk. It helps him a little. Then he just realized that his quirk isn't gonna help him. So he puts on the gas mask to see if that helps a little. It helped a lot. He stopped completely. So he decided not to drink any more water around this place or he might die. So he goes back and he says, I haven't checked the left side. Wonder what's over there. He finds 4 little and a box. And he decided not to buy anything more. Thought it was kind of dangerous. He walks down. He sees a skull, but he's afraid to pick it up. So he just decides to walk away. Give him a bad feeling. And then he finally got the courage of what this thing was. It was curious. It looked supernatural. The real question is, why was it there? And how could he take it off? But now, he realizes that, that, that this has something to do with it. What he's staring at is a gobblegum machine. It was covered in spider webs, but he took it all out by his little sticky thing. Widow's wine, basically. Took it off with Widow's wine. And then what happened was it disappeared. He realized he tried eating something. He he just got money cash. Thing that gives you free money. I forgot what it was called, my bad. So when he just started eating, and he chewed out this gum. Something appeared in front of him. It was blue. He ate all four. Gave him 3,500 points, plus the ones that he had already. So all in total is 5,000 points. Now he decides with that is he walks up to the power room and he turns on the power. Everything starts flickering, and he realizes that zombies are awaking and they're up, but they're just standing still. That's what scared them most. Maybe if he touched them, they would start moving and chasing him. It's best to avoid them. So he walks around every zombie, and he doesn't think nothing. He doesn't affect it. So what he does is he buys quick revive, and he sees little thing in the side of the green, a perk machine. He saw. He bought speed cola. And finally, he saw Juggernaut. Oh wait, yeah, Juggernaut. Decides to drink that too. He didn't know what it did, but he knew it cost less points. So he didn't know what to buy next. So we decided, thing is just to go back home with a gobble gum this time. He buys a gobble gum, and he gets mm, what should I give him? Those two things I could give him. Screw it, let's give him no, that would be way bad in my hair first. Let's give him I actually don't know. Shopping free. Screw it. He got shopping free. But this time he had a choice to eat the gold. He didn't eat it straight away. He kept it in his pocket. He decided to go home. But then he heard something stopping. And he tried looking for his tool that he dropped when the first zombie tried chasing him. Starts running back there. And all he sees is this big green plant thing. It was super weird. But he decides not to touch it. He can't go back to the portal. So that means he has to make another portal somewhere else. But he needs to make an unstable wall. He can't go to the two plant floors or all the way inside the bunker. So he decided to go down the elevator. He goes all the way down. And he realizes he can't breathe again. He puts on the gas mask. Totally worked. So he was walking past everything. Two zombies stood up, but he was very careful not touching them. Till he saw a cage. He realized that there was somebody still alive in there. When he walked up, he realized he was wrong. He thought something, they might have eaten him or something. But when they looked at his head, it was separated from his body. He started puking, and he just started getting a little scared. And he realized that he didn't want to be here no more. Whatever did this is still human, and he thought that they might have killed him, locked him up in here. His question is why? But real quickly, he saw a little sword on his right side, and Takio's soul's gone. So I'm just gonna say that Takio has like a little like bit of half of his soul inside of the sword because it would be way better like that. So he takes the sword out and no, he takes the belt off the severed head thing. He doesn't know who he is. It's a Takio on his chest. On his shirt, chest. So he puts a sword on him. Yes, he had a small sword in his chest and he realized what happened. Back in the old days, they used to do this to his ancestors used to do this for honor. And Zuko's super intelligent, so he automatically knew. What he did was make a teleporter. And after this, I think his machine, he didn't want to go back there where the other mutant zombie was. He didn't want to face that thing. So he made it there. Sure enough, when he made it, his machine broke. Couldn't use it no more. When he walked back, Zuko went to go hide his things. And when he did, tried walking home. And then everyone was looking at him and they're really weird. He didn't know what was it. When he walked home, he realized he was missing for 3 days. He was kind of scared because if he would have stayed there any longer, he would never made it back here. Like in time, basically, because I'm saying time is different. And when he just walked, there was his mom. Iko was hugging him, crying, say you'll never leave me ever again. And he said, and he didn't know what was wrong. They took him to the doctors. They realized that something was super wrong with this boy. Everyone that he walks past gets headaches. They go a little bit crazy. They forget memories. They stay still. And some of them start coughing for no reason. But Izuku knew why that was all. The water he drank. It was super weird. He decided to use his quirk. The doctor stopped losing some of his memories. And he realized that something's a little weird. He said the doctor was thinking, did he manifest another quirk? He said, no, that's impossible. He did a quirk chest check later. Or he did a quirk enhancement a few days before the matter of him disappearing. So they decided that he did something. They asked Izuku what happened during the past 3 days. He says the truth. He doesn't remember. Because for him, there's another world. And Izuku was kind of already weirded out of what that place was. But once the day is over, he goes back to his school. Everyone didn't really care. Some actually did because he had a quirk. They all were pretty worried about him. Except Bakugo and his goons and half of the other school, just some of the people in his class. He said everything was alright. What he did next is he went back to the beach to go craft the equipment that he got. including the weapon. You realize that the gun will be pretty weird for him to use in in hero as a hero. So he just throws it in the water and hopes it takes it away somewhere. But sure enough, it brings it right back. When he looks at the katana, he thinks of it in a weird way. He thinks of it like it's binding to him somehow. And now he just starts thinking of what was that place called? Something in his head says Setsubo no Shima. And he was surprised. And next, all he's hearing was the Emperor. The Emperor. And he was getting a little weirded out. And he realized that he wasn't using his quirk to stop it. So when he used it again, the voices got out of his head. And sooner or later, he just started getting these sights, not visions, like him seeing himself as another person. He sees him with drunk guy, the person, a German, and he looks at. Then what the guy does is chop. I mean, no. What time should I put that? No, he walks inside the room, and then Zukus didn't want to watch this no more, and it just stopped, and all he sees is his hand and him just breathing super heavily. He realized that he just gave himself an upgrade, but the one thing that was very worrying him was the widow's wine, which we all know, except Zuko. Zuko thinks it's. And then Takio's severed soul says, widow's wine. And he says, widow's wine. And he just starts looking. And he sees nobody around him. Maybe this voice is here to help. But it only works when I'm holding the sword. So he just holds the sword and says, what's this for? A gobble gum. What does it do? Spend anything for 10 minutes. Or let's give it 30 minutes. 30 minutes. 30 seconds, my bad. Stupid. Minutes. So he just got really surprised. So you're saying goodbye anything with this? And he says, yes. Because Zuku and Takio are basically from both Japan, so they both speak the same language. And he just puts it in his pocket. And the sword tells him he reminds him of this German. And he was surprised, but he didn't take nothing of it. He's still 7, by the way, so he still acts like a child. He puts his katana back in his waist. And he's looking what else, the 3 things he drank. He drank Quick Revive, Speed, and Juggernog. So he was wondering if Speed made him run faster. So he started a little chalk in his hand, which he obviously stole from somewhere. And he started making a line with the chalk. 2 lines. And he put the chalk back in his little purse with, like, what is it? Holster, I guess, for Takio's waist. Let me look at that. So when he started running, he realized he ran way faster than before. He was kind of surprised. So he looked at the quote that he got. So those perks really did something. Speed Cola makes you run a little bit faster. He he was holding the sword by his waist. And he was like, maybe the sword can help me out with something. My name is my name isn't Sword, it's Takio. And he was like, Takio, that's what I'll call it. And he's like, do you remember anything else, Takio? Only a little bit of memory comes back, Takio says. Zuko just really trying to get more answers. So he tells Takio, does Juggernog remind you of anything? Juggernog, it reminds me of a drinking, something to drink. And he says, yes, but do you know what it does? Takio just starts thinking of it. And when I'm saying Takio, I mean the sword, basically. Takio says, I think it makes you more harder to hit, I guess. And Zuko is, let's test it. So he grabs Takio sword and tries to slice his hand. He dodges because he couldn't do it. He says, maybe. And then Takio, like, can you remember anything more about it? It makes you heal. He says, let's just give myself a cut then. Sure enough, it healed him. He was super surprised. Regeneration. Now, what does Quick Revive do? Takio says, I think I know that one pretty easily. Takio says, it makes you help people get better so they can be able to move. So if someone's super injured and can't walk anymore, you can get them back up. Zuko was super surprised about this. And he was like, I need to make another device again. But some of the parts not here because I already used them twice. I guess we have to do something with shopping free. So he doesn't decide to go on a wild shopping spree with shopping free. So he just keeps it. And instead of leaving the sword, he takes it with him. And he decides to get another quirk. And he walks to the doctor with his mom. He tells him, I think I unlocked the quirk with the sword. And he says, that's good. And Zuko always has to hide the little Whittles wine behind his, like, inside of his pants where his underwears are because it won't come off of him. So they walk to the quirk doctor. He says, well, what's I think I have a new quirk. He says, oh, well, then that might explain a lot. And he says, what's the new quirk? I think it has something to do with the sword. And he looks at the sword. He says, let's test. So Zuko faked some of the tests to make the sword, like, be part of him. So they took the sword a few meters away from Zuko. And he says he can't breathe himself. And if they take it a lot more, he says he doesn't say anything. He just starts coughing and can't breathe, which he's actually doing with the thing because he's no longer using his normal quirk, the resistant quirk. So they bring the sword back to him, and he says, "You can't take the sword. I mean, you cannot take the sword very long, like far away from him. He'll start dying, I guess." They put. And then they realize, and they start talking to Zuko. What can the sword do exactly? He says, "I don't know. It just appeared on me, on you." And then the doctor sees the belt. He says, "Can I see what's inside this belt? It's telling me not to." And, and the doctor gets curious. What do you mean it's telling you? He says, if you open one of these belts, you might die. Doctor's super surprised. He doesn't want to take the chance. So, he doesn't want to open the belt. And he starts thinking, if I take the belt off of him, will that affect it? And Izuku wasn't thinking at the right time because he was focusing like, oh, he passed that with the breeze. Now the sword can't. Takio can't get away from me. And when the doctors took the belt, Izuku wasn't acting, so they realized that the sword is only his quirk, not the belt. But if I open it, it said I would die, basically. So it's best to keep this around Izuku too, and keep it well locked. And he tells Izuku, "Can you open the pockets?" And he says, "Yeah, I can." And he opened it, and the doctor starts getting crazy. Like for some reason, the the top floor, I hear, and they both start cheering. And he tells Izuku to close the pocket, which everything noise, and they tell Izuku to come with him. And they both start walking upstairs, and they both ask. He asks the doctors what's going on. Izuku's sitting right there, and he says, "I don't know. This patient just woke up. He flatlined a minute ago, and now he's alive." And the doctor starts getting intrigued, and he tells Izuku to sit right here. And AK the zombie got up, started eating the nearest person, which was a nurse, and they all started running away. Zuko already knew what to do. He locked the door, and he remembered if he didn't touch the zombie, he would be fine. The reason I'm saying that is because of the 115 element. It makes dead cells come back to life. I know you're thinking like, oh, well, that's stupid, but like I'm just gonna put it like that. Story plot. So when Izuku was walking around, he realized that the zombie didn't attack him, but it attacked the nurse. So what he did was Izuku chopped off the head of the zombie, or yeah, and he looked at the nurse, and he saw the nurse get up, start racing for the door, and the doctor was watching. That was taking Izuku's quirk test, and he chopped. Well, he missed, and he couldn't chop, so he hurt the zombie. But now the zombie was looking at him, which Zuko used his released one his released the quirk. So the zombie stood still, and everybody around the hospital started losing their memories, and some of them started coughing, but lightly. So what Izuku did was chop. Oh, I'm saying the 115. It's around his belt, so yeah, I'm just gonna say that right now. So Izuku chopped off the head of the zombie, and Doctor was a little bit impressed, but he forgot why he was there. And Zuko holds back his quirk again, and he realizes again that, oh well, I'm here to test this patient. And he Zuko opens the door and he says, "You did very well. I guess what's happened with what happens when you open the pockets, a dead person comes back to life." Let's say the Doctor Quark is super observant, and they decided to take the belt away from Izuku and just started putting super locks on it, like keeping it shut so it won't wake up again. But it's better to keep it around Izuku because it wouldn't affect him. And he decides that it gives them memory loss in other parts of Izuku. And he was super weird about that part. So he got that quirk done. They didn't think of a super powerful quirk. Just thought it was just a sword. manipulation, belt manipulation, something like that. What they did have to teach him how to learn and control a quirk. Zuko already knew how to do that, but he doesn't know how to control how to keep people from moving, turning them into zombies. So he grabbed the sword and told him that now you can't leave me, but the belt could go very far away. So they haven't told anybody but um the chief of police this incident because he is a police police officer. Well, they decide that they don't want that to happen again, so they try to take Zuko's belt, but they said that they probably shouldn't do it. It's best to keep it on him because it's his quirk. And then they said, "Can we just destroy it?" And Zuko tells them that if they destroy this, then everybody would die around him. And they want to trust him. The doctor really wanted to trust him because he knew what he's been saying has been coming true. So he didn't question it. He says, "That's it. I'm just gonna write it as can't be 50, like one small little meter away from his belt." So he puts that as his quirk too. So now he's able to walk around with his belt and his sword. People are saying that it's cool sword, Zuko. Where'd you get it from? And they said it's my new quirk. And it's like, you got two quirks, so cool. And Bakugo was not that impressed. Just starts sitting there and says, "You're still a loser, Deku." Zuko's kind of weird because he knew he could take down Bakugo, but he's not that powerful. Now he's deciding what he should do with the shopping frame. And he hasn't decided yet. The sword tells him that in the back in the old days there was hidden temples around that nobody could find anything. You should make a teleporter that could make you go anywhere in the world. And I'll tell you the coordinates. Because nobody knew where this place was. I'm gonna say it's Agartha. Or no, not Agartha. The crazy place, yeah. Crazy place, there we go. And he said, maybe not now, but in a later date though. So I'm gonna end it off here, which I'm gonna get back to this what if because I kinda like it. So I'm gonna make you guys choose one of these maps, and you guys choose from the Giant, Shadows of Evil, Kino Detergent, 5, The Horizon Rock, Tension, Call of the Dead. You guys cannot choose that Sonoshima. I already did that. But Drokorovi, I forgot that was Shingula. Not Revelations. You guys probably do. I'll let you guys do. Well, I'm gonna do Origins already, so maybe later. Ascension, and you guys do all these. You just have to. There's like more comments than the other ones, then I'm gonna do that one first. So this is the end of the video. See you guys later.